Imagine being born with a sword attached to your face in the most hostile environment on Earth. Welcome to the absolutely insane reality of narwhal life, where every single day is a fight for survival that makes other animals' problems look like vacation complaints. You think your childhood was rough? Try this. You're literally born underwater, in sub-zero Arctic waters surrounded by chunks of deadly ice. The moment you exit your mother's body, you've got exactly one job. Swim straight up through freezing water and take your first breath before your tiny lungs give out completely. The surface is 20 feet away, and every second counts because drowning on your birthday is apparently a real possibility in narwhal world. Your mom stays close, nudging you upward with desperate urgency, and that first gulp of Arctic air feels like swallowing razor blades. But congratulations, you survived step one of what might be nature's most brutal existence. Back underwater, your stomach is already screaming for food. So you find your mother's milk, which is thick as cream and loaded with enough fat to help you pack on blubber fast. You'll need every ounce of that insulation because this frozen wasteland doesn't care about your comfort. But here's where things get really twisted. Even mealtime becomes a life or death scenario. Every few minutes, you have to stop feeding and follow mom to find another breathing hole in the ice. When the frozen ceiling gets too thick, she uses her long spiral tusk like a medieval spear, literally breaking through solid ice to create breathing spaces for both of you. Your survival depends entirely on your mother's face sword, and that's just the beginning of this nightmare. Now, here's something that'll blow your mind. Most female narwhals never get the famous unicorn horn that everyone associates with their species. It's like nature's cruelest lottery system. Only about 15% of females ever develop a tusk, while males have to wait years for their defining feature to grow, spending their youth completely defenseless in one of the ocean's most dangerous neighborhoods. But wait, it gets worse. That magnificent tusk everyone thinks is so magical? It's actually a hypersensitive tooth packed with millions of nerve endings. Imagine having a permanent exposed nerve attached to your face that you have to use as a tool, weapon, and survival instrument every single day. The pain must be absolutely unbelievable, but narwhals have no choice. It's their lifeline in the Arctic. While you're waiting for your tusk to grow, watching helplessly as older narwhals sport their impressive 9-foot spears, you're stuck learning one of the most impossible skills in the animal kingdom. You need to master diving over 6,000 feet into pitch-black depths where your dinner lives, holding your breath for up to 25 minutes at a time while hunting in complete darkness, using only echolocation. Your first attempts are embarrassingly pathetic. While adult narwhals disappear into the abyss like underwater superheroes, you're barely managing 5 minutes before desperately rushing back to the surface, gasping for air like you're drowning. But there's no time to feel sorry for yourself, because if you can't learn to hunt in the deep, you'll starve in the shallow waters above. And just when you think you're getting the hang of this impossible lifestyle, you encounter the stuff of absolute nightmares. Orcas, the ocean's apex predators that make great whites look like harmless goldfish. These massive killing machines can snap a full-grown narwhal's 10-foot tusk like it's a toothpick, and they consider narwhals nothing more than an Arctic snack. But orcas aren't your only problem lurking in the depths. Greenland sharks patrol these waters like underwater zombies, and when you're young and inexperienced, they see you as easy prey. Picture this. You're alone on your first solo hunting trip, feeling confident with your tiny baby tusk, when suddenly a shark your own size appears out of the darkness. Your heart races as you point your pathetic excuse for a weapon forward, knowing you're about to engage in an underwater sword fight you're definitely not ready for. The battle is exhausting and terrifying, with both of you spinning and slashing in a dangerous dance that fills the water with blood. Just when you think you might not make it, an adult narwhal appears, and the shark decides this neighborhood just got too crowded for comfort. You survived, but barely, and learned a valuable lesson about picking fights before your tusk is battle-ready. Here's where narwhal biology gets absolutely mind-blowing. That tusk isn't just a weapon, It's a sophisticated biological sensor array packed with millions of nerve endings that can detect temperature changes, particle concentrations, and pressure variations in the water. It's like having a built-in underwater GPS, thermometer, and chemical detector all rolled into one incredibly sensitive face sword. Narwhals use their tusks to tap and stun prey like underwater fencing masters, navigating through complex ice mazes, using this biological sensor array that puts human technology to shame. But imagine the constant sensory overload. Every touch, every temperature change, every chemical shift in the water sending signals through millions of nerve endings directly into your skull. After surviving years of this brutal training, you finally reach adulthood with your impressive 8-foot tusk and the confidence that comes with it. You've joined your own bachelor pod of 15 to 20 other narwhals, and together you've carved out territory in these icy waters that most predators don't dare to approach. A group of narwhals with spears attached to their faces is apparently intimidating enough to keep most threats at bay. But then comes the annual chaos that makes everything else look simple: mating season. Every spring, narwhals gather at specific locations in the Arctic for what can only be described as the ocean's most awkward speed dating event. Hundreds of narwhals who've been living in separate gender-specific pods all year suddenly converge in one area, and every male is desperately trying to impress the females with their tusk skills. The competition is absolutely ridiculous. Males attempt elaborate underwater acrobatics, spinning their 9-foot tusks like batons in some bizarre aquatic talent show. You practice your smoothest moves for months, only to completely embarrass yourself when the moment comes, tangling tusks with another male who had the same brilliant idea, or performing your signature spiral swim while the female you're trying to impress is busy admiring some other guy's slightly longer spear. But here's the kicker about narwhal romance. It lasts exactly a few days, and then everyone goes back to their separate lives forever. There are no narwhal families, no daddy-daughter bonding, no family reunions. Males and females only meet during this brief spring gathering, mate, and then return to their bachelor and bachelorette pods for the rest of the year. The females raise any babies completely on their own, while males go back to bragging about their breeding season adventures. Now here's where the story takes a truly terrifying turn for modern narwhals. The Arctic is changing faster than these ancient survivors can adapt. Traditional ice patterns that narwhals have relied on for millions of years are disappearing, disrupting migration routes and making breathing holes unpredictable death traps. Remember, only about 5% of Arctic ice has natural breathing holes during winter. And narwhals need to find these gaps every few minutes, or they'll suffocate under the frozen ceiling. With climate change altering ice formation patterns, these life-saving air pockets are becoming increasingly rare and unreliable. Imagine playing a deadly game of underwater hide-and-seek, where the rules keep changing and losing means drowning. The water temperatures are shifting, food sources are moving to new depths, and ancient feeding grounds are becoming barren wastelands. Narwhals are being forced to dive deeper than ever before, pushing their already incredible diving abilities to the absolute limit just to find enough food to survive. But perhaps the most fascinating aspect of narwhal existence is that despite all this hardship, they remain one of the ocean's greatest mysteries. Scientists still can't fully explain their behavior, their navigation systems, or how they've managed to thrive in the Arctic for millions of years, while other species struggle to survive. These living legends inspired unicorn myths across human cultures for centuries. Yet, we're still discovering new things about their incredible abilities. They've survived ice ages, climate shifts, and countless predators by developing some of the most remarkable adaptations in the animal kingdom. Their echolocation is more sophisticated than our best sonar technology. Their diving capabilities put Olympic athletes to shame, and their social structures are unlike anything else in the ocean. So the next time you think your life is challenging, remember the narwhal, born into freezing chaos, armed with a face sword packed with millions of nerve endings, forced to hunt in absolute darkness thousands of feet underwater, constantly dodging us. Apex predators and dealing with a climate that's changing the rules of survival faster than they can adapt. Yet somehow, these incredible creatures continue to thrive in Earth's most hostile environment, carrying on ancient traditions while adapting to modern challenges. They've turned surviving in the Arctic into an art form, proving that sometimes the most beautiful and mysterious creatures are forged in the harshest conditions imaginable. Being a narwhal might be nature's cruelest joke, but it's also created one of the most remarkable success stories in the animal kingdom, a living legend that continues to mystify and inspire us while ruling over the frozen seas with nothing but intelligence, determination, and a really impressive face sword. That's a wrap on today's wild journey. But here at the Zoo-phoria Show, we're just getting started exploring nature's most incredible stories. Subscribe if you want to keep discovering the shocking, hilarious, and downright unbelievable truths about the animals sharing our planet. Your next favorite animal fact is just one click away.